What if the best pop song you'll hear this week isn't new, and it isn't even famous? What if it's been sitting on a shelf in Tokyo, Stockholm, Glasgow, or Amsterdam, quietly perfect, waiting for you to press play? That's this episode. We're cracking open the secret wing of the pop museum. Bands who wrote choruses big enough for arenas but lived their lives in cult followings, midnight radio, and secondhand CDs. This isn't about guilty pleasures or snarky, so bad it's good. It's about precision, arrangements that click like clockwork, melodies that feel discovered rather than written, and lyrics that hit with the soft force only pop can manage. We'll jump from Shibuya chic to Nordic melancholy, from jangle guitars to dream haze synths, each pick coming with a start here track so you can fall in love fast. Ground rules: no repeats, no chart coattails, and every band earns its spot on songs alone. By the end, you'll have a playlist that slips from headphones to life's soundtrack without a seam. If pop has ever rescued your day, stick around. Hit subscribe, drop the first track that hooked you in the comments, and let's go crate digging for future favorites. The scene. Mid-80s London, where glossy synths and neon optimism ruled radio. Into that weather walked the Dream Academy. Nick Laird-Clowes, Gilbert Gabriel, and early multi-instrumentalist Kate St. John, sounding like a fog bank rolling down the Thames. Their palette, oboe and strings, treated guitars, soft focus keys, field-recorded voices, and a rhythmic undercurrent that never chases the club but still moves. David Gilmour advised and co-produced parts of the debut, and you can hear that pastoral Pink Floyd sense of space, air between instruments, melodies that open like a horizon. What they invented: a bridge between Baroque textures and pop chorus writing that feels discovered rather than assembled. The band's secret is tension with tenderness, lullaby tones singing about memory, loss, and the strange ache of big cities. On headphones, they're cinematic. On speakers, they turn a room into winter light. Start here. Life in a Northern Town, 1985. It's the song everyone knows, but listen closely. The chant is folk ancient, the drums are gated but not bombastic, and the arrangement breathes in long phrases. Then go to The Edge of Forever for the ache. Please, please, please let me get what I want. Cover for their restraint. Indian Summer for late 80s clarity. Production tells. Bowed strings enter as color, not ballast. Guitars are often chorus-kissed and panned wide. The lead vocal stays intimate, nearly whispered. Why they stayed cult? Too soft for rock radio, too literate for synth-pop rotation, they lived between formats, where timeless bands often hide. The scene. Glasgow, 1996 onward. A city that already wrote the book on indie tenderness. Tracy and Campbell leads with a voice that carries sun through cloud. Producers like Stuart Murdoch, Bell and Sebastian, and Tucker Martine helped the band bottle that glow without sanding off the Scottish bite. Camera Obscura's trick is how nostalgia and bite coexist. Phil Spector drum accents meet pedal steel size. Motown bass walks under lyrics that cut and comfort in the same line. What they perfected: the 3-minute novella. Every chorus is a turning of the page, every bridge a remembered room. They use girl group grammar, country inflections, and northern soul pulse without cosplay. It's lived in, not retro. Start here. Lloyd, I'm Ready to Be Heartbroken, 2006. That organ stab into the first line is a masterclass in instant world building. Then go to French Navy, 2009, for swagger and hand claps. Hey Lloyd, I'm Ready to Be Heartbroken live, to feel the band's stage blend, razzle dazzle rose when you want the ache. Production tells. Tambourine and hand claps emphasize backbeats. Rhythm guitars are tight, bright, and never crowd the vocal. Arrangements lift choruses by widening the stereo image rather than spiking volume. While they stayed cult, they write hits that feel private, which makes them perfect for headphones and long walks, and a step sideways from chart machinery. The scene. Tokyo, 1990s. 3 players, Shinji Sato, Yuzuru Kashiwabara, Kenichi Motegi, fold dubs low-end logic into gauzy pop and the bittersweet warmth of city pop. You don't listen to Fishmans so much as float inside them. Bass moves like tide water. Drums are precise but soft-edged. Guitars shimmer and delay. Sato's voice feels like someone singing from the other side of a summer door. What they built, a uniquely Japanese dream dub where time dilates. Their signature piece, Long Season, 1996, is a single 30-plus minute track that blooms and recomposes itself like weather. Motifs surfacing, dissolving, returning with new colors. It's not a suite of parts, it's one long breath. Start here. Long Season in full, no skipping. If a single is required, Baby Blue or Night Cruising shows their gentler orbit. Then go to the live document December 28, 98 Otakatachi no Wakare to hear how they expand without losing center. Shibuya K in the 1990s, record collector pop that samples 60s cinema, lounge, soul, and bossa nova, then rebuilds it into something chic and new. Yasuharu Konishi is the master collagist/arranger. Maki no Miya is the ultra-cool voice and attitude. Think bold colors, modernist fonts, twirl-ready hooks, music that dresses the room and owns it. Take my place, you need me, yes you do, forever and ever. What they made possible. That pop can be both museum smart and radio sticky. They don't hide their references, they stage them. Strings, vibraphones, spy movie guitar, cheeky spoken interludes. The ingredients are vintage, the grammar is modern. Their tracks are designed like posters. Foreground hook, negative space. A clever tagline you hum for days. Start here. Baby Love Child, 1994, for tenderness. Twiggy Twiggy, Twiggy versus James Bond. For the wink and strut, Sweet Soul Review, when you need the confetti cannon. Then go to Made in USA, US Comp, or the 5th release from Matador for a quick primer, then the Japanese albums for deep cuts. Production tells. Crisp drum programming close-mic'd and dry. Strings compressed for pop punch. Maki's vocal mixed forward with minimal reverb, so every smile lands. While they stayed cult, too stylized for rock orthodoxy, too cosmopolitan for narrow pop lanes, yet endlessly influential on designers, DJs, and pop maximalists. The scene. Stockholm, via Aarhus, late 90s onward. Duo Carolina Comstedt and Johan Angergaard, Labrador Records, distill Scandinavian pop to its essentials. A small drum machine, a soft guitar figure, a synth that glows rather than blinds, and a vocal that feels like someone trusting you with a secret. Their tempos are walking pace. Their choruses bloom like breath on glass. What they refined, minimalism that never feels thin. Club 8 arrange like architects of absence. Take away the cymbal, and the snare sounds closer. Remove the rhythm guitar, and the melody sounds inevitable. The trick is weightless rhythm. Songs that sway gently, but keep your head nodding. Start here. Love in December, 2001. There's a bell-tone guitar figure that acts like a second melody. The drum pattern is so restrained it becomes hypnotic. Then go to Jesus, Walk With Me for Hush and Glow Devotion, the People's Record era for when they nudge into Afro-leaning rhythms without losing the cool. Production tells, kick and bass just touch. Tambourine appears to announce a chorus, then disappears. Carolina's vocal is close mic, breath a deliberate part of the rhythm. Why they stayed cult? They whisper in a world that rewards shouting. Listeners who find them keep them. The scene, Lund/Stockholm, early 2000s. Johan Duncanson and Martin Karlberg build a world where hazy guitars, drum machines, and whisper-sung melodies drift like morning fog. Then you catch a lyric and realize the fog is full of barbs. It's dream pop with pamphlets in its pockets. Personal ache set against surveillance, privatization, and quiet rage. What they perfected, contradiction as texture. Airy chords and tambourine shimmer carry political lyrics that never lecture. They smuggle protest inside romance. The tempos amble, the choruses bloom late. The hooks are afterimages that stick once the song ends. Start here. Heaven's on Fire. 2010, a tape-recorded intro dissolves into jangly guitars and a bass line that nudges the melody forward. Then go to I Don't Like It Like This for weightless melancholy. This time around for drum machine drift. Occupied to hear the bite up close. Production tells, high-pass guitars layered in semi-tuned chorus, snares that are more click than crack, bass recorded round and low so the whole track feels like it's breathing. Vocals sit inside the mix, not on top, like a thought you can't shake. Why they stayed cult? Too subtle for festival fireworks playlists, too principled to chase formats. Their records reward listeners who lean in. The scene, South London, late 80s to 1991. On Sarah Records, Bobby Ratton and company craft songs so economical they feel inevitable. Tiny drum machines, tremolo guitars, shy vocals, and then a chorus that lands like a confession you needed to hear all week. What they invented, a blueprint for indie pop restraint where negative space is part of the harmony. They move effortlessly between jangle, early electronics, and hushed balladry without losing emotional center. Start here. Sensitive, 1989 uptempo, chiming and quietly defiant. Then go to Emma's House for Heartache Distilled, Missing the Moon for their elegant turn toward electronics. Let's Kiss and Make Up for a melody that seems to pre-exist. Production tells, drum machines mixed like a metronome you can love, guitars slightly detuned for ache, vocals tracked, dry to feel face close. When synths appear, they support rather than replace the guitar geometry. Why they stayed cult? Their intimacy resists spectacle. Put them in headphones and the world blurs to the right scale.
Way down the road, it occurs to me that I might have...
The scene, Birmingham and the English countryside, late 80s onward. Stephen Duffy, yes, the Prederan one, but this is a different book. With brother Nick Duffy writes songs that smell like rain on stone. Pastoral folk pop laced with wry observation, pedal steel, and strings that lift without syrup.
We'll face this New England like we always...
What they refined. The Sunday morning album, not sleepy, but clear-eyed, quietly propulsive rhythms, acoustic guitars recorded like furniture you've owned forever, and choruses that bloom in natural light. Start here. Return to Yesterday, 1988, a melody as unhurried as a walk home.
I heard a lover calling to St. Anthony.
Then go to The Lost Girl in the Midnight Sun for Luminosity, American Eyes for their soft horizon, the album and Love for All for their richest arrangements. Production tells, brushes, and gently gated room mics. Lap steel used as halo rather than lead. String parts voiced to sit under vocals so the lyric holds court. The bass plays patient countermelody rather than pure root notes.
I left you at the bus stop in working town. Now
Why they stayed cult. Too subtle to compete with late 80s bombast. Too grown to be faddish. Their reward is longevity. These records age in oak, not plastic. The Scene. Cork, London, mid-80s. Cathal Coghlan, voiced like a velvet thread, and Sean O'Hagan, arranger who hears in Technicolor, build songs that glide on refined chords while the lyrics slice. Think Burt Bacharach structure with an Irish pamphleteer's pen. What they did, they smuggled satire and bile into shapely pop, lilting melodies carrying state-of-the-nation themes, media barbs, and small-town ghosts. Later, O'Hagan's trajectory toward the high Lamas arrangement luxuriance is foreshadowed in these chord choices. Start here. Town to Town, 1987, buoyant on the surface, haunted underneath. Then go to Gale Force Wind for controlled swells. Singer's Hampstead Home for fangs behind the smile. The Clock Comes Down the Stairs for the full thesis. Production tells. Piano voicings with jazz extensions tucked into pop time. Clean guitars and stereo conversation. Strings used as architecture, not ornament. Coghlan's vocal sits forward. The message cannot hide. Why they stayed cult. Too literate to be thrown on in bars. Too pretty to be filed under angry. Their contradiction is the point and the pleasure.
the others, pleasure fills with love.
The Scene. Liverpool, early 80s. Peter Coyle and Jeremy Kelly debut with a song, The First Picture of You. So perfectly bittersweet, it risked defining them. But zoom out, and you hear a band building crystalline pop, high-register guitars, nimble bass, and choruses that lift without brute force drums.
The cradle for sales.
What they offered? The possibility of anthemic lightness, big feelings carried by delicate means. They proved you can make arms aloft music that still sounds like lace and glass. Start here. The First Picture of You, 1983, the Sun Through Cloud chorus you already know, or should.
The first picture of you, the first picture of summer.
Then go to Set Me Apart for Propulsion, the album No Sense of Sin for a full palette of airy hooks. Production tells. Guitars mic bright but not harsh, synths pad in leafy shapes, snares tight and dry so nothing smears. Vocal doubles used sparingly for shimmer at choruses.
Oh, deep in some night, break into the
Why they stayed cult? A single that eclipsed deeper work, plus music industry turbulence. The catalog repays curiosity. The deeper cuts keep the promise the hit made. The Scene. Liverpool/Wirral, early mid-80s. Gary Daly and Eddie London arrive with calm voices, immaculate chord changes, and arrangements that glint like sea light. Think synths as watercolor, bass as patient counsel, and guitar figures that outline the harmony rather than dominate it.
It's just wishful thinking.
Producers like Walter Becker, Steely Dan, and Mike Howlett helped the band bottle elegance without losing warmth. What they perfected? Sophisti pop with a conscience, harmonic richness, supple grooves, and melodies you can hum for years. It's music that never raises its voice, yet stays in your head all week.
Watch the day go by.
Start here. Wishful Thinking, 1983-84. The quintessential China crisis drift, soft drums, aching melody, weightless lift. Then go to Black Man Ray, glossier, more enigmatic, tragedy and mystery. And the album flaunt the imperfection for the Becker sheen.
It all worthwhile.
Production tells. Bass mixed forward and round. Drum ambience is short. Rooms, not halls. Juno/Jupiter pads carefully HPF'd so the vocal sits. Guitar arpeggios panned wide. Vocal doubles thin and tucked. Why they stayed cult. Too refined for bombastic trends. Too literate to be novelty. They reward ears that like chords with extra colors. The scene. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, late 80s forward. Karen Paris, voice/piano/guitar. Don Paris, guitar/production. And friends make songs that feel like sunlight through curtains. Intimate, reverent, and startlingly present. The lyrics are journals of ordinary holiness. Kitchen tables, sidewalks, the names of streets. Sung with a humility that knocks you sideways. What they do. Microcinema. Tiny details rendered with such care the world gets bigger. Harmony choices lean folk/classical. Guitar is chime and air. Rhythm is pulse, not spectacle. Start here. Bright as Yellow, 1995. Yes, the best known, but it's the doorway. Wide-eyed, buoyant, unmistakable. Then go to Tomorrow on the Runway, Lakes of Canada, and later era deep cuts where the arrangements barely rise above a whisper, yet feel vast. Production tells. Close-mic'd vocals with bare reverb, finger-picked acoustics with soft transient, pianos recorded as instrument in a room, not pop gloss. Subtle stereo guitar halos around the voice. Why they stayed cult. They don't chase volume or fashion. Listeners who find them tend to keep them for life.
Hello, hi there.
The scene. Brisbane, Sydney, Paris. Intermittently since the late 70s. Peter Milton Walsh writes like a novelist and sings like a man reading you the last page. The apartment songs are hotel room lamps at 2 a.m., strings that breathe, guitars and sleek gray chords, rhythm sections that walk rather than strut. What they carry. Romance with gravity, arrangements that swell without syrup, lyrics that mean it, and melodies that arrive fully formed. If you love Scott Walker's Ache or Go-Between's elegance, this is the Hidden Corridor. Start here. The Shyest Time, 1988. Luminous, propulsive, cinematic. Then go to Sunset Hotel, All You Wanted, and the album's drift and a life full of farewells for the long, late-night arc. Production tells. Strings voiced under the vocal, not a carpet, but a conversation.
You're too young for ghosts.
Electric guitars recorded with edge minus glare. Drums lightly compressed for soft punch. Bass plays counter melody as much as root. Why they stayed cult. Sporadic releases, geography, and stubborn quality control. Every return feels necessary, never cash in.
It's 8:43, a train pulls away.
The scene. Glasgow, 90s onward. David Scott writes the sort of tunes other songwriters quietly envy. Melodies that arc perfectly, bridges that feel inevitable, and chord changes that resolve like a smile you've been waiting for.
Oh, please buy my words for Valentine's Day.
The mood is optimistic but bittersweet. Arrangements draw from Bacharach, Beach Boys, and classic British pop without pastiche. What they offer. Craft with heart. Woodwinds that actually speak. Pianos that carry the harmonic load. Guitars that decorate rather than demand. It's sophisticated without the wink.
I was asleep.
Start here. The Umbrellas of Shibuya, 2007. Instant classic. Lyric film still images. Tune that won't leave. Then go to Send Me a Letter, New Stars, and the album up with the Larks for a suite of pure pop architecture.
The banker, the lawyer, the young Tokyo crew.
Production tells. Woodwind/brass dry and forward. You hear the reed. Stacked vocals tight and low and level. Piano mid-range carved so bass can sing. Drums lightly brushed or crisp with no splash. Why they stayed cult? Too exquisitely built for hype cycles. They feel discovered, not marketed. The scene. Amsterdam, late 70s to now. Henk Hofstede, Rob Claude, and friends have changed shapes without losing identity. Art pop miniatures, narrative postcards, and rhythmic experiments that still hum with melody. Across decades, the Nits treat pop as applied curiosity. What happens if we put this percussion against that piano figure? If the lyric is a travel diary? If the hook is a shadow instead of a shout? What they prove? Longevity through reinvention. They never abandon song. They refresh the frame around it. In the Dutch mountains gave them a continental hit, but the deeper catalog is the reward. Rooms, cities, ghosts, and jokes, all sung with gentle intelligence. Start here. In the Dutch mountains, 1987, the door that opens most widely. Then go to Shyest Days, Necio, Sketches of Spain, their own, and live takes where Rob Claude's drum language becomes the secret melody. Production tells. Drums tuned musically, not just percussively. Pianos recorded bright but woody. Guitars used as color blocks. Vocals close and conversational. Stereo field used like a stage set. Why they stayed cult? Language borders and eclecticism can confuse playlists. For listeners, that's a feature. There's always a new room to open. The journey doesn't end here, pop lovers. Watch this next.